welcome back to part 4 of my Inktober 2021 series. I hope you had a nice day so far, and if you're watching this in the morning, then I hope that you're gonna have a nice day. For this video, I was in the mood to draw some sea creatures / sea animals. I don't know where that idea came from. I guess sometimes you just want to draw an animal that comes to your mind. And since I wanted to explore some animal concepts this Inktober anyway, this seemed to fit pretty good. Also, I think that animals that live underwater have a very fascinating vibe, because they look so different. The deeper you go under the sea, the more fascinating their appearance gets. So for the first animal I chose a jellyfish. Why a jellyfish? Because they are very colorful and elegant. Many of them just look so beautiful. Their anatomy, the way they float through the water, I just find it so nice. Actually, as a kid, I had a lot of contact with jellyfish on holiday at the beach. Sadly, most of them were stranded on the beach, but sometimes we tried rescuing them by bringing them back into the water. Of course, we were careful not to touch them, because if you're not an expert, you never know if they sting or not. Luckily, we never got stung by one so far. If we saw one of them in the water, we also tried to keep our distance, especially from red ones. I think the white ones would have been okay to touch, but you never know. Some of these animals can be pretty harmful to you and are poisonous, so you have to be careful with it. And to be honest, maybe this fact also adds to my fascination with these animals. When something looks beautiful, yet is potentially dangerous or harmful, I don't know, this combination can be pretty cool and kind of intriguing to me. And I've never drawn a jellyfish before, so I wanted to give it a try. I definitely want to create a bigger painting or drawing with a jellyfish concept in the future. When you watched part 2 of this Inktober series, then you know that I did some tests beforehand regarding the mushroom prompt and painted the same mushroom in different ways to figure out which one I like most. And for this prompt, or let's say for this jellyfish, I did the same. I'll show them to you. At first glance, they might not look so different from each other, but when you look closer, you will notice slight differences in terms of the amount of color, or the black ink, or shadows and cross-hatching. I experimented with that and then settled on a style for this jellyfish, which has a strong black outline that also mixes with the colors. You will see that I worked a lot with non-waterproof fineliners in these 3 paintings that create this nice effect. For the second animal, I wanted to draw a nautilus or a nautilus shell. I had a fossil in mind when I thought about it, but then I learned that there was a living species that fit my idea as well. In Germany, we call them Perlboote. So like a boat made of pearls, which sounds very beautiful again. And when you take a look inside the shell, it actually makes sense because they can really look like a pearl inside, very shiny and smooth. These animals are part of the cephalopods, so Kopffüßer, and they are, as far as I know, carnivores, and they hunt at night. And like I said with the jellyfish, I like it when something looks beautiful or cool, but seems to have a darker or dangerous touch to it, which is here also the case. I'm also very happy to draw a shell or a snail house again. You know how much I like drawing these kinds of things. And I think that in this case the Perlboot turned out pretty cute. The third animal has tentacles as well, and like I've said, it's an octopus. I've already drawn or painted some in the past. Sometimes I tend to put them on people's heads, and I still love them as a motif. You can create many different compositions with their tentacles. Did you know that each tentacle of an octopus has kind of its own brain? And if the octopus loses it, it can move and kind of think on its own for a while. It's just amazing. Such an amazing animal. Regarding the painting techniques, I used some non-waterproof ink on the outline of the drawing this time and then went over it with the watercolors. That way it mixes them together and creates some nice shadows and values. I really enjoyed this process and loved how the watercolors created all these nice forms while mixing with the black ink and while drying in the puddles. It's definitely a technique that I will use in paintings in the future. I also tried something different with the details on the drawing this time. I didn't really use cross-hatching or something like that. The colors and ink already created some shadows, so I just added some thicker lines and dots along the arms of the octopus to enhance the flow of the arms. I think overall this painting might be a pretty cool motif for a sticker. The jellyfish and the Perlboot maybe as well. I think about that. And with that, day 11 to 13 would be finished. Sometimes it's nice to just draw a beautiful animal. Which animal do you like to draw? I'm curious about that. And for now, I'd say I hope you enjoyed these little sea creatures as well, and we will see each other in the next video. Bye!